It's an old building, more than a wooden shed. In 1812 we gathered there, that's what the historian said. Well, they succeed in rebuilding our markets to serve us like before, or drop the ball and waste our time and make us wait some more.
Really? I'm gonna see what he has at his desk. I think you'd try to clean up once in a while. Oh, look, there's nothing on these post-it notes. Good for him. All right, let's see. Oh, I wonder what this is. So this is what the markets used to look like. I've not seen one of these in a while. What's this? The Broadway Markets have been a fixture of Fells Point since their creation in 1786. For better or worse, the markets have weathered economic ups and downs. A fire in the 1960s that destroyed the North Market. And a highway that threatened demolition. And the gentrification of the neighborhood. But the future is uncertain and the fate of the markets are in jeopardy. I wish Frank left some better notes for me. Baltimore City has begun a process to overhaul all their markets. With the Broadway Market squarely in the crosshairs. Wonder what's going on with it now. All right, Frank, let's see what you can give me.
This market really used to be a grand two-story structure before a fire back in the 1950s. And we'd actually like to turn the clock back and really look at recreating a market this size. Something that established a node that when you look south from Hopkins, that identifies the grand entrance to Fells Point. Today, this is what you see. This facade's built out in the street. It blocks view corridors. There's surface parking, parallel parking on either side of the market, which doesn't allow any sidewalks. All the existing arches along the side have been bricked up and painted. It's not inviting at all.
And what we have initially, at least verbally, have worked out tentatively with the market authority is that allow us control of that for however many years, 75 years. We'll lease it, and in exchange, we'll make all the improvements to it, but we manage it. And so without that understanding, we have zero interest in moving forward.
It's the only vehicle that I could imagine that would provide for the replacement of the second story of the marketplace, which really takes that entire quarter back to another time in terms of its character, and will just, I think, rejuvenate the market.
The second floor financially just wasn't going to be able to work in terms of getting construction financing on that.
Wait, so after all this time, suddenly the second floor of the market wasn't being rebuilt after all? So what's gonna happen to it?
I am so glad to be here with you today, so that we can all have a voice in shaping what comes next with the Broadway Markets.
This is a great turnout, really appreciate everybody coming. The RFP was released by the city and the Baltimore Development Corporation about 3 weeks ago, I guess now. The proposals are due February 13th. The city is really looking to privatize some of the markets.
Look, there's Frank. What's Frank doing at this meeting?
Traditional shopping market. That was really loudly reverberated at the table. Upper Fells is this like thriving Latino community with amazing food and restaurants. Let's bring some of that down. The market hours, this was a big point. The hours are really limited right now. The fact that the circulator stop was taken away, and that actually was a huge hit. Open market with vendors. So a big one was like, we have the North Market and it is just empty. And it's been empty. And all the vendors were pushed down into the South Market. A lot of them have suffered. And the businesses around the market have suffered because that area is shut down. So like, just open the market.
It needs to be 2 stories to be viable. I really believe that, because you just have extra space then. You have space for seating, you have space for extra things, the artist space.
And maintain the original structure, the original design.
What we don't have down here is a public meeting space.
There he is
Everybody
again.
stay warm and,
Frank, where are you?
Safe in this snowstorm.
So Frank not only knows about the markets, but is also actively involved in saving them. What else is he hiding?
I thought it was a great idea. I wish I could have been there. But it was a typical charrette situation where they write things on big pads of paper and, gather ideas. I heard people say it was, they were glad it happened. People need to have a voice in their community.
There's an RFP for renovations on both the north and the south shed of Broadway Markets, and there's some concern in the neighborhood about that.
There was one developer application. There is a 3-month review period, and the RFP is very specific, so they'll be judging this developer against the document of the RFP.
Seems like Frank was really involved with these markets. And they seem pretty interesting from what I can tell. Frank would hate it if I learned more about it than him. Let's see where it begins.